Swang guys, this is SwaggerTurbo and welcome back to yet another episode of SCUTERIA SUPARI, my team career mode. Of course, if you haven't seen the trailer and the first two parts of this series, go and check it out because a lot of mods have been used. All the mods that have been used are there in the description as well. So huge thanks to whoever's made the mods. And looking at our car, the upgrades are still not in. So we are still in the bottom three, almost similar pace to Haas and AlphaTauri up front. And we still have a few upgrades that need to come on after Miami, that is before Spain, obviously. And we have the tire wear upgrade sorted for this time out. So hopefully our quality times get slightly better because of the conservation of the tires. And yeah, overall, just we have to see if the whole car performs better with the tire wear upgrades in, because earlier we had a lot of issues with our tire just degrading really quick, and I literally had to pit early just so that our tires don't die. But yeah, after the whole practice session is done, we can get a front plate M plates, which will help us with a little bit more of downforce, and hopefully after Spain or maybe even during Spain, we can get that upgrade in and yeah, just become a slightly better car, because right now we are not really in the right position to even go for points. And season 2 was supposed to be us as a midfield team. So hopefully the second phase of the season we can get some more points in and yeah, not just fight for a position like 11th or even 14th for that matter. So we have to obviously focus up and try to get as many points as possible, because we came 6th in the constructors last time around and we haven't had a single point this season. So obviously Jehan still learning quite a lot in F1. Obviously it's his first season, because he only did half the season last time out, so only 8 races, and he's still kind of like a rookie, same like us. But yeah, we have to try and upgrade the car as much as possible so that even Jehan starts getting in points, because let's say only I'm getting points and he's not really up to the mark, his focus will automatically keep going down, and that's not what we want, because as we saw, George Russell has super high focus and he won the first race. He got pole and he won the first race as well. So focus affects these guys a lot. So we need to try and do something so that Jehan's focus just keeps increasing and not decreasing. And for that, we have to give him a car which is competitive enough so that he can also start getting into points, get his confidence up, and yeah, that's gonna take a little while, but finishing up the quali right now, and we finished up in a pretty decent spot. We finished in 15th, so we started off as pretty much last in the first few races, and now slowly but surely we're making our way up, and we are 15th, which is not too bad. And looking at the top three, Carlos and Charles are top 1 and 2, so Ferrari doing amazingly with their partnership with Alfa Romeo. Jehan is in 18th, so that just shows that our car is getting there slowly but surely. So we just have to see how this car performs in the race as well. Hopefully, we don't lose any front wing, and let's see how it goes.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Fernando Alonso. Hamilton, Perez, Ricciardo, and Pierre Gasly. Tsunoda, Ocon, Alex Albon, and Magnussen. Kumar, Joe, Liam Lawson, and Jehan Daruvala. Stroll, Mick Schumacher, Vettel, and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
So pretty decent quali from both of us, and we are pretty decent for the whole fuel part. So let's start this race and let's see where we end up from 15th on the grid. It's 5 red lights for the Miami Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. We get a pretty decent start compared to the Haas to our right, and this is the first time we've actually had a pretty okay start, but we have to brake early because of the guys in front and give space. And for some reason Joe just sends it down the inside of us, and we have floor damage. And that damage is going to stay throughout the race, and it might just hamper us to the entirety of this race. So honestly, I was expecting for no front wing damage, which we thankfully didn't get. But we have floor damage now and getting super close to the Haas to our right. And we banged tires with Albon. So got super close to Kevin. Thankfully, just, the car turned in and just about missing Magnussen and yeah, making a move on Albon. We already have a damaged right side pod, or should I say right side floor. And again, these guys are braking so early, almost losing a wing, going into the back of Ocon and losing the whole race as well, losing the whole car. And you can just see how much damage there is. So there's a huge chunk from a floor which is just gone on the right, and that is definitely going to hamper us throughout the straights and whatnot. So we have to focus up, and hopefully we don't lose that much time compared to the AI in front and the back, because Miami is a track which I really like, and we already have a car which is somewhat similar to that of a tractor. We already have so many issues with the car, and yeah, we have had another hurdle that we have to take care of now, getting close to Ocon and sending one dive down the inside, and it actually made it work. Obviously, Ocon is side by side with us right now, and I have no idea what happened there. We just, started braking, and these guys are braking way too much. Sent one down the inside, and Albon trying to send one down the inside of us, and we have contact. Thankfully, I don't think both of us got any damage. Albon's front wing looks intact, and Ocon just lost two positions in one corner. So already a lot of things going on in the first two laps of this race. And as I said, Miami is a track which I really like, and there is a chance that we can get into points. The points is right there, 1.6 seconds in front of us, and all we have to do is maybe take Sonoda over here, and if we are able to overtake Sonoda, we should be able to get 10th at least, because Gasly is on Sauce, and Sauce don't really last for too long. And we're going for a move down the outside this time around, and through the Mickey Mouse section, wheel to wheel banging going on right there, and somehow we make the move stick. Here is another angle of the whole battle. We don't have a slight bit of the front wing, but going side by side, very aggressive from Tsunoda right there. But yeah, tire banging twice, and yet again, no damage done. And we are still on simulation damage. We could see that from the first lap incident, where it was just a slight touch, but our floor is gone. Tsunoda just flying past us. The floor is really hampering us, and Albon sending a dive bomb yet again down the inside. We're going side by side through the last couple of turns over here, and thankfully we get DRS off of Tsunoda in front, and we are still going side by side, but thankfully we have the inside and we can cover off Albon, and hope like hell that Ocon starts attacking Albon, because that Alpine has a lot of speed which is just not being shown right now because he just stuck behind. So all we have to do right now is stay behind Tsunoda, not make any mistakes, because we have Albon right behind us, and all we have to do is just focus up, not lose the DRS, because if we lose DRS of Tsunoda, we are going to get eaten up by Albon, Ocon, and the whole train that's right behind. So we can see on the minimap that there's a train behind the Ferraris, obviously in front, and then there's a gap, and then there's a Tsunoda train which we are a part of, and it goes all the way back to Latifi in P22, I think. So yeah, we have to just try and not lose our wing, of course, and DRS of Sonoda. So again, what I was noticing was right from the get-go, our exit out of the last, this onto this straight, should I say, was pretty bad, and the AI just had a lightning launch out of the out of that turn, and they were just flying very literally. So we had to use a lot of ERS to just stay with them, but thankfully we have a lot of ERS upgrades, because of which I was able to keep up with the at least Tsunoda over here. So we can already see that Gasly is 3 seconds in front, and Albon is trying to go for a move down the inside. I am giving him as much space as possible because I don't want any contact which is going to slow us down. So giving him as much space as possible. At the same time, I have to use ERS here just to try and get back in that DRS detection zone off of Sonoda, because as I was saying, if we lose it, we pretty much lose a chance to maybe get into the points. So, oh, going extremely close to the track limit there. Of course, we are running strict rules for corner cutting as well, so we have to be careful to not get an extra penalty. But are we going to have a mirror move of what we did earlier? But no, Sonoda parks his car right in the middle of the road, and there's no space given to us, so we can't, make a move over there. But this time around, we are super close, dumping all of that ERS, and still we are not able to catch up to him because of our floor damage. The floor damage is hampering us a lot because we're dumping ERS as well as DRS, and only then could I make a dive down the inside move, which is super annoying because there was no fault of ours in that first lap incident. It was Joe who went into the back of us, and I don't even think he had any front wing damage. So we have a damaged floor. He does not have a front wing damage. So yeah, I got really frustrated at the start, and we have a replay of what is going on right in front. So McLaren and Red Bull going side by side, and the McLaren of Ricardo, that is, goes into the back of, I think that is Perez, and loses his front wing. So Ricardo has lost his front wing, has to pit, and it's lap 7. So I think Gasly is also going to pit. And because of this, we get DRS off of Gasly because they were all just held up because of all the fighting which is going on. And you can see yet again what a lightning launch they get on this straight. So there's no way we catch up even, or get close to them. But the most important thing right now is Ricardo has to go into the pits, and so does Gasly because Gasly has a proper stop, whereas Ricardo has to change his front wing as well. So that could be a free position for us, and we can actually be, eyeing maybe a ninth over here if we can stay behind Perez and not lose the RSS off of him, because Tsunoda is right on our tail, and it's going to be hard to keep him at bay for too long. Lap 10 now, and you can just see that Tsunoda, with the help of DRS, I am super low on ERS as well, goes slightly wide, which gives Tsunoda a chance to actually come back at us and maybe even overtake us, and he does. He overtakes us in the final corner, and I know for a fact this is not over yet. We still have a chance to go and try and fight Tsunoda as much as possible, give it our best shot, and hopefully we can get at least 1 point. So letting Tsunoda through, or maybe letting him overtake us, didn't really feel too bad. Tire wear is slightly improved from last time, but still it's pretty bad, and I am losing quite a lot of tire wear compared to the guys around us. So super close to Tsunoda, even giving him a love tap there. Thankfully, no front wing damage, because if we do get front wing damage, our car is already damaged on the floor, and it will have just become a worse and worse. And I don't really want any more damage done to this car, which hampers our performance even more. So going going side by side actually with Ocon, he sends on down the inside, but thankfully we just have more speed around the outside, and we keep it in front of Ocon just for now. So we can see the whole train that's getting formed behind Tsunoda right now. It's a proper 6-car train, and our teammate Jehan is just at the back of this train, about to catch up. So if he does make a few, right decisions here and there, he might be able to get into points as well. So all of us, again, the mid pack or the back runners, are very close together. And can we send it down the inside of Sonoda? No, we can't. We were just slightly too far back, and there's not much I can do about that. And the floor damage just kept deteriorating because obviously we have the damage on standard and simulation. So the damage just kept deteriorating, and I could feel a lot of drag in the car. While we are driving, we weren't really hitting the right amount of top speed that we should be getting super close to Sonoda there as well while I'm talking about that. And yet again, we are just find ourselves in a pickle where we are right behind Sonoda, thankfully getting DRS off of him, because if not for Sonoda and DRS, I'm pretty sure Ocon has more speed than us, and he would have easily overtaken us, and yeah, just gone into the distance. So skipping to the end of lap 12, now Ocon and us are going side by side. Tsunoda is right in front of us, and he is going for a move similar to what Tsunoda did. And we are still going side by side through the last couple of turns and onto the main straight. And even with the help of ERS and DRS, we are just going neck and neck. And thankfully, we had the inside, so we could keep this position for now. I have no idea for how long I can keep Ocon behind, because it's clear that he's way quicker than us, and we are losing time to Tsunoda as well because of all the fighting. Perez is 4 seconds ahead, and he was on hards. So you can just see the pace difference that we have compared to, the front runners versus us, who's maybe a midfield team, or should I just say a back marker. But yeah, lap 14 now, we are going into the pits. If we can, overtake one of these guys in the pits, that would be lovely. And yet again, the pit crew doing a pretty decent job, but for some reason, it didn't really release me on time. So I was like, trying to leave the clutch and go, but for some reason, it just didn't allow me to go, and my gears just kept going up. So it was a very weird experience. And the biggest problem here is we have lost out DRS to Tsunoda, and we have cold hard tires, which is not going to help us catch him up, because usually they are pretty slow through this section, and we are still losing more time. Thankfully, not getting any warning, because we are going super slow through the whole section, and we did lose quite a bit of time. So Albon is right behind us, Tsunoda in front. All we have to do is try and get back into the DRS range. And while I'm talking about that, next lap, Ocon pits and comes out in front of us. So his overcut actually worked out perfectly. So I am going to use a little bit of ERS over here. He's on cold hard tires. So there's an outside chance we actually overtake him, because he will have a lot of understeer, and he does. So we're going side by side yet again. Had a proper battle with him in the pit lap, and now in his out lap, we still have a side by side battle. And somehow, no idea how this happened, but we got DRS off of Sonoda. So the timer was around 1.031, if I'm not wrong, and somehow we got DRS. So I was like, you know what? I'm not complaining. Thank you very much, game. There's a lot of time I am annoyed at this game, but this time I'm like, you know what? We'll take it. It's a free freebie that we have been given. We'll thankfully, happily take it. Lap 16 now. We are pretty close to Sonoda, and we are gonna send a dive down the inside. We already have floor damage. We get slightly bit more of floor damage, and one thing which I noticed was Sonoda didn't get any front wing damage. So something weird was going on where my floors were just like made of glass. As soon as they got touched, it just, we just lost more and more pieces of our floor. Whereas these guys, even with the simulation damage on, the front wing just didn't really, break, which was super weird. And we just again have to defend from Tsunoda. Thankfully, we have the inside yet again, and Tsunoda gets pushed slightly wide. His it was not an optimal line for him, and that's mainly because we were down the inside. And yet again, he is going for a move around the outside. We are just defending like crazy, holding every single, inside line, and just somehow just staying in front of Tsunoda. We still have around 13 laps from now. So it's going to be super hard to just keep Tsunoda behind. And this is the exact line I was actually taking a few laps after this as well, going extremely to the left. And I'll be showing a few replays of that as well. And yet again, Tsunoda going around the outside. We have the inside and braking slightly later compared to Tsunoda. And we make the mistake, and this is where everything changed, because Ocon has overtaken Tsunoda, and an Alpine is way faster than that AlphaTauri. So it's going to be super hard now to try and keep Ocon at bay. Gasly has come out in front of us on the medium, so he's definitely on a two-stopper. So there's an outside chance that we are able to, get into the points here. And we have Liam Lawson's engine just blows up in the Audi. So Audi not really having pretty decent races at all, and he parks the car in the third sector, which is super weird. And while I'm talking about that, we're going side by side with Ocon yet again, diving down the inside and actually just covering the inside, and we're still going side by side. And you can see in the replay that he has a slight bit of oversteer, which helps us stay in front of him. But as I was saying earlier, Audi Sport not really having the best of seasons. The first season, obviously, Alfa Romeo Sauber was doing pretty good, but Audi Sport is not really doing as well as I expected them to. But yeah, going over here, Ocon tags the back of us, and this is wing damage. Ocon does get wing damage this time around, so we obviously instantly go into replay to check out what exactly happened. And I was slightly going to the right, so it's like a slight squeeze, and then the whole thing, the track just converges. It's a right turn, and yeah, there was just no space left. So I don't really know who's really at fault. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. I really feel like it's a 50-50 because I was trying to obviously defend, and yeah, the car is still there. We don't really get safety cars when there's an engine issue for anyone. So we didn't really get a safety car at all. So till the time there's no carnage going on, we literally don't get any safety cars. But yeah, lap 26 now, Ocon unfortunately had to pit because of that contact, which is super sad. But focusing on our race, let's not make it sad and keep Sonoda at bay because 27 now, only 3 more laps, and we have to make sure that we stay in front of Sonoda to even get a actually have a chance to get 2 points. Because let's say Sonoda overtakes us, Albon is right behind, and there's a whole train of cars behind. And I didn't really want to get overtaken by anyone here. I was defending like crazy since lap 17 to lap 28 now. Yet again, Tsunoda trying to go around the outside. We just defend the inside, and like a champ, just staying in front lap after lap and sector after sector. This was one of my most, panicky race as well as, stressful race because we were just going through so many things. Like, I would be getting points here. I was super happy. But then there are cars right behind who are super, super quick. They have DRS as well. And yeah, there was nothing I could really do to defend from them. And yet again, I brake super super late over here, and that move does not stick this time around. Tsunoda and I are going side by side. He goes over the curb though, which slows him down, and is that the mistake that is gonna let us keep this ninth over here? So Tsunoda going down the inside, and there's a William down the inside as well, and he tags us. The Williams of Albon tags us slightly, and he somehow falls back yet again to P12. So here's a quick replay of what exactly happened. There's a Haas to our left, and wow, great camera work by the F1 game here. But yeah, Sonoda and Albon were going side by side, and I think it was Albon who touched the rear end of the car, and that actually helped us slightly because we have a 5/10 gap right now, and gap to front to Perez is 28 seconds. So you can just see how slow we were in this car. So we are nowhere close to the top 4 or 5 teams, I should say. And the other guys are very close. So it's like the top 5 teams are super close, and then the rest of the pack is also super close in terms of pace. Because I feel like I would have been slightly quicker if not for this floor damage, because we already have an orange floor now, which is, as I said, it's not going to help us at all. Carlos Sainz wins the Grand Prix, and our focus is completely on this last and final sector and the final turn. These guys get such amazing exits. I'm going to use all of my ERS here, 20%, and this is the line I was talking about. Going extremely to the left and just holding this line, not giving the AI any chance to, get slipstream off of me. And is this it? Is this the last turn? And yes, we have kept Sonoda at bay for over 19 laps. We have kept, thankfully, Sonoda at bay, and we come home in ninth. What a crazy, crazy race this has been. From all the way down in 15th, we somehow got ninth and driver of the day yet again. And it's mostly because of all the defending that we have done, and even the overtakes. Because at start we got a pretty okay start, and then yeah, we just had to stick with Tsunoda, and Tsunoda stuck with us for like pretty much the entirety of the race. And Ferrari getting a 1-2 yet again. So is this just going to be another repeat of season 1 where Ferrari can, just extend their lead in the WCC, or can Brown Mercedes? Because obviously right now Red Bull are not even close to the top 2 because they just keep messing up here and there, and they don't really have the pace that they need to become a world championship car, or even a contender for the world's constructor championship right now. So they need to get a lot of upgrades in, and that's the only way they'll have a chance towards the end of the season to even get close to the likes of Ferrari and Mercedes, because the other teams like McLaren and Alpine are also getting in points consistently. Whereas the Red Bull, yes, they are getting in points, but is it enough for them to win the world's constructors? Is what we'll have to see towards the end of the series. But yeah, George Russell yet again coming third. Can he retain his lead in the with the world's driver championship? Again, we'll have to see it here. And Alpine's Fernando Alonso got fifth. And of course, we know what happened to Ocon, so let's not talk about that. First points for us, getting 2 points, which is huge. And let's just see the constructors now. And the driver standings has changed. Carlos Sainz has taken the lead by 1 point. Oh, and only 4 points between the top three, which is Charles Leclerc, Russell, and Sainz. So we have obviously Lando Norris and Verstappen and Perez at the back, but yeah, still a lot of things to happen throughout this whole series. It's only episode 3 right now. We are seventh behind AlphaTauri and in front of Alfa Romeo, though. Last time we were actually behind Alfa Romeo, but this time we are in front, so hopefully we do better. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.